You ever stop to consider why, after you reach 60, it can feel like your body is suddenly turning against you? Your energy seems to drain away, your sleep becomes fitful, and your confidence perhaps wanes in intimate moments. What if I were to suggest that the reason might not be simply getting older, but something you're consuming every day, believing it's good for you? Yes, certain fruits, the very ones we've been taught are a gift from nature, could be gradually weakening your circulation, upsetting your digestion, and affecting your performance where it matters most, one small bite at a time. I'm Dr. Harold Grant. For over 30 years, I've dedicated my career to helping older adults regain their strength, vitality, and sense of dignity, particularly regarding heart health, blood flow, and intimacy after 60. And time and again, I've noticed how even the most well-intentioned diets can backfire when the unique way the aging body processes food isn't taken into account. The reality is, some fruits that are perfectly fine for someone in their 30s can quietly become detrimental after 60. But here's some encouraging news. There are also fruits that can heal, protect, and restore your energy from the inside out, if you just know which ones to select. So, in this video, Dr. Grant will reveal the 4 specific fruits you should avoid from now on because they subtly affect your blood pressure, your medication balance, and your overall vitality. And the 4 fruits you should definitely include in your diet to safeguard your brain, heart, digestion, and even your performance in the bedroom. And the most risky fruit of all? You've likely eaten it within the past week. Let's get to the bottom of this, one bite at a time. Before we get started, please click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell, so you never miss another health tip designed to help you stay strong, alert, and self-assured after 60. And if this video resonates with you, type 1 in the comments below. If it doesn't, type 0. So I can better tailor future videos to your needs. Alright, now that you appreciate that not all fruits are created equal after 60, let's explore the truth that most people never hear. The 4 fruits you should avoid eating as a senior. These aren't rare or exotic. They're common, often considered healthy, and likely sitting in kitchens all across the country. But for aging bodies, they can quietly interfere with your medications, cause spikes in your blood sugar, irritate your joints, and even weaken your circulation. Let's find out what they are. Starting with the most deceptive of them all. 1. Grapefruit. The silent medication saboteur. I'll never forget when an 82-year-old patient of mine came to see me, visibly shaken after a visit to the emergency room. His heart had started racing uncontrollably, and he'd collapsed at home. The surprising cause? Grapefruit. Yes, grapefruit. Bright, refreshing, and seemingly healthy. But what most seniors don't realize is that grapefruit is more than just a fruit. It's a potential chemical minefield for anyone taking prescription medications. And let's face it, that includes most of us over 60. You see, grapefruit contains a compound that blocks a vital enzyme in your liver called CYP3A4. This enzyme helps your body process many of the most commonly prescribed medications. Blood pressure pills, cholesterol meds, anti-anxiety drugs, even some treatments for prostate health. When this enzyme is blocked, those medications don't leave your system as they should. They accumulate silently in your bloodstream, too much, too fast. The consequences can be serious. Sudden muscle breakdown from statins, dangerous heart rhythms, excessive bleeding, or the kind of fatigue and mental fog that steals your clarity and energy without warning. It's like placing your trust in a fruit that appears friendly but secretly works against your body's well-being. And what makes it even more concerning is how innocent it all seems. Grapefruit is often served at breakfast in hospitals, retirement communities, even on the plates of those trying to eat healthily. But for seniors, particularly those on medication, this one fruit can become a ticking time bomb. Now, if a fruit as popular and praised as grapefruit can harbor such hidden dangers, what about those fruits that are naturally sweet and bite-sized? The ones we pop into our mouths by the handful, without giving it a second thought. That leads us to the next surprising threat. Most seniors don't see it coming. 2. Cherries. Sweet, but treacherous. When I was a boy, summer meant bowls of fresh cherries on the porch, sweet, juicy, and filled with happy memories. Even now, I see many of my older patients' faces light up at the sight of them. And I understand why. Cherries feel safe. They're small, natural, and comforting. But here's what most seniors don't realize. For aging bodies, particularly those dealing with inflammation, diabetes, or joint pain, cherries can quietly undermine your health. 1 cup of sweet cherries contains nearly 20 grams of sugar. For a young, healthy body, that might not seem like much, but for someone over 60, especially with a slower metabolism or insulin resistance, it's a sugar rush the body can struggle to handle. That spike in blood sugar might not be immediately noticeable, but over time, it diminishes your energy, clouds your thinking, and puts dangerous stress on your organs. You might feel it in your knees the next morning, in your swollen hands, or in the exhaustion that follows what you thought was a healthy snack. But sugar isn't the only problem. Cherries are acidic, and for those with arthritis or chronic inflammation, that acid can quietly worsen joint pain and stiffness. I've seen patients who were eating cherries daily, believing they were helping their health, only to realize that the very thing they were reaching for was actually exacerbating the pain they were trying to relieve. It's a difficult truth because we want to believe that something so natural and sweet couldn't possibly harm us. But at this stage of life, every bite matters more than ever. And if cherries can negatively affect your joints, just imagine what happens when too much potassium starts interfering with your heart, your kidneys, and even your ability to think clearly. Let's discuss the fruit that most seniors eat every day without a second thought, yet maybe silently putting their lives at risk. 3. Bananas. Too much of a good thing. For most of my life, I believed bananas were one of the safest, most reliable fruits you could eat. They were a staple in my home and in many of my patients' kitchens. Easy to grab, soft to chew, full of potassium, and in our minds, undeniably healthy. But after 60, the truth starts to change. What once supported your energy may now be quietly threatening your heart, your muscles, and your mental clarity. Let me tell you about Robert, a retired bus driver in his late 70s. He was active, sharp, and proud of his healthy eating habits. He told me he ate a banana every single morning, sometimes two, but he had started experiencing some concerning symptoms. A fluttering heartbeat, occasional dizziness, and a persistent fatigue he couldn't shake. Blood tests revealed something we see more often than people realize: hyperkalemia, or elevated potassium levels. As we age, especially if we have kidney problems or take common blood pressure medications like ACE inhibitors or potassium-sparing diuretics, our ability to eliminate excess potassium slows down. That potassium, so beneficial in small amounts, can build up in the bloodstream and start interfering with the electrical rhythm of your heart, your muscle function, even your brain's ability to stay alert. The worst part is how innocent it all seems. A banana looks harmless, but your body's chemistry has changed. What served you well in your 40s might now be quietly tipping the balance in the wrong direction. And if a simple banana can disrupt your internal rhythm, what about the snack that wears a mask of health, but is actually one of the most dangerous traps for seniors trying to manage blood sugar, weight, or circulation? The next one may already be sitting in your pantry, waiting to cause trouble. 4. Dried fruits. The hidden sugar bomb. Years ago, I used to keep a small container of trail mix on my desk. Almonds, cashews, a few dried cranberries or raisins. It seemed like a sensible choice, something I could recommend to my patients who wanted a quick, healthy snack between meals. But over the years, I began to notice a concerning pattern, particularly among my older patients. Their blood sugar was fluctuating dramatically, their digestion was off, and their energy was crashing in ways that didn't make sense. The surprising culprit? Dried fruit. On the surface, dried fruits seem harmless. They're fruit, after all. Natural, convenient, no peeling, no mess. But what's left after the water is removed is a concentrated form of sugar, stripped of the hydrating, filling power of fresh fruit. A handful of raisins might look small, but metabolically, it's like eating a whole bunch of grapes all at once, without the fiber or hydration to soften the impact. Many dried fruits are also coated with added sugar and preserved with sulfites, chemicals that can irritate the gut, worsen inflammation, and even trigger headaches or breathing difficulties in sensitive individuals. For seniors, especially those living with diabetes, high blood pressure, or digestive sensitivity, this little handful becomes a trap. The worst part is the illusion. You think you're doing something good for your body, making a smart choice, but in reality, you may be fueling the very problems you're trying to solve. But here's the good news. While some fruits quietly work against your body as you age, others become powerful allies, gently supporting your brain, protecting your heart, easing digestion, and even helping restore the strength and confidence you thought you'd lost. Let's talk about the fruits you absolutely should eat, and why they might just be the best medicine you never knew you needed. 1. Blueberries, the brain defender. There's something quietly powerful about blueberries. They don't demand attention. They don't have the tropical flair of papaya or the bright sweetness of cherries. But for older adults, they may be the most important fruit you can keep in your kitchen. I recall a patient named Walter, 74 years old, a retired teacher, sharp as a tack most of his life, but lately, he told me his memory was fading. Names, conversations, even where he put his keys. It worried him, and it worried his wife even more. We started discussing small daily changes. Nothing drastic, just things he could do that didn't involve more pills. That's when I told him about blueberries. You see, these little blue gems are packed with anthocyanins, antioxidants that cross the blood-brain barrier and go straight to work fighting inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. Over time, they help support clearer thinking, better memory, and even reduce the risk of cognitive decline. Walter started adding just half a cup a day to his morning oatmeal, and within weeks, he felt sharper. He wasn't cured, but he felt more like himself again. That's the power of the right fruit at the right time in your life. Blueberries also support healthy blood pressure, improve circulation, and are low in sugar, making them ideal for seniors managing diabetes or heart conditions. And if a fruit so small can help protect your memory and your heart, imagine what happens when you eat something just as familiar, but one that's been quietly safeguarding your arteries for generations. Let's talk about the crisp, humble fruit that may be hanging in your fruit bowl right now, and why it deserves a place on your plate every single day. 2. Apples, the heart's best friend. My father used to carry an apple in his lunchbox every single day. He believed in simple things, walking after dinner, drinking plenty of water, and eating one good apple a day. At the time, I thought it was just an old-fashioned habit. But now, after decades in medicine, I see the wisdom in it. Especially for seniors, the humble apple isn't just tradition, it's protection. Apples are rich in a type of soluble fiber called pectin. And this fiber does something remarkable. It binds to cholesterol in your digestive system and helps carry it out of the body before it ever reaches your bloodstream. That means lower LDL cholesterol, a reduced risk of stroke, and a heart that doesn't have to work so hard to keep you alive. And if you're over 60, that kind of quiet support can be the difference between fatigue and freedom. But apples do more than protect the heart. They help stabilize blood sugar, ease constipation, and support a healthy weight, all without the sugar crash that comes from sweeter fruits. And there's something emotionally comforting about biting into a crisp apple. It reminds us of harvests, of childhood lunches, of a time when food felt simpler and safer. I've seen countless patients rediscover their energy just by swapping processed snacks for an apple each day. It's small, it's familiar, and it works. And if that sounds too simple to make a real difference, just wait until you hear about a fruit that does even more. One that protects your bones, sharpens your brain, and restores the very strength you feel slipping away. You might not think of it as a fruit at all, but it just might become the most powerful food in your kitchen. 3. Avocados, the strength preserver. Not long ago, a patient named Harold, aged 68, sat across from me and said, "Doc, I don't feel weak, but I don't feel strong anymore either. I feel dimmed." That word stayed with me. Dimmed. Not sick, not broken, just not as strong, not as steady, not as clear. And sometimes strength doesn't come from pushing harder or doing more. Sometimes it comes from fueling your body differently. That's where avocados come in. Now, most people don't even think of avocados as fruit, but they are. And for seniors, they're one of the most beneficial fruits you can eat. Unlike sugary options that cause spikes and crashes in your energy, avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats. The kind of fat your body actually needs to protect your heart, sharpen your mind, and soothe your joints. They help lower bad cholesterol, reduce inflammation, and support smoother blood flow throughout your entire system, including to the areas that matter most in your later years. Avocados are also packed with vitamin K, a nutrient essential for keeping bones strong and reducing your risk of fractures, a concern that becomes all too real after 60. Add in potassium, folate, and lutein, and you've got a fruit that supports everything from brain clarity to healthy vision. But perhaps what I love most is how they make people feel nourished, satisfied, and cared for. It's not just fuel, it's comfort you can trust. So whether it's on toast, in a salad, or with just a spoon and a little salt, this is one fruit that works quietly and deeply to help you stay strong. And yet, if avocados nourish your strength from the inside out, the next fruit works in a different way, by calming what's overactive, restoring what's been strained, and helping you digest not just food, but life itself. Let's talk about the healing fruit you may have overlooked. 4. Papaya, the digestive miracle. When we talk about aging, we often focus on the big things: heart disease, memory loss, bone strength. But sometimes it's the quieter struggles that wear us down the most. Bloating after meals, constipation that leaves you uncomfortable. That sense that your body just isn't processing things the way it used to. I hear this from my patients every week, and I felt it myself when my mother, in her late 70s, started avoiding meals altogether simply because eating made her feel worse, not better. That's when we added papaya to her daily routine, and everything changed. Papaya might not get the spotlight, but inside that soft, golden flesh is something truly healing. It contains papain, a natural enzyme that helps your body gently break down proteins, easing the workload on your digestive system. For seniors dealing with sluggish digestion, gas, acid reflux, or the side effects of long-term medications, papaya is a gift. But it doesn't stop there. This fruit is rich in vitamins A, C, and E, which help calm internal inflammation, strengthen your immune system, and even nourish your skin. And for those struggling with arthritis or joint pain, papaya's anti-inflammatory properties work quietly, day after day, to restore a sense of ease and balance in the body. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it works consistently and gently. And sometimes that's exactly what the aging body needs. A slice of something simple, something kind. Now that we've uncovered the 4 fruits that can restore your energy, sharpen your memory, strengthen your bones, and soothe your gut, the question becomes, how do you bring it all together? In the next few moments, I'll show you exactly how to turn these foods into a daily ritual that protects your future, one small, powerful choice at a time. Conclusion: your health is in your hands. I've spent decades caring for men and women in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. And if there's one truth I've learned, it's this: what we put into our bodies matters more with each passing year. The fruits we once reached for without thinking, grapefruit, cherries, bananas, dried fruits, may now be silently working against us, stirring up blood sugar issues, medication conflicts, and inflammation we no longer recover from as quickly. But it's never too late to choose differently, because just as some fruits cause harm, others, like blueberries, apples, avocados, and papaya, can bring healing. They can sharpen your mind, protect your heart, ease digestion, and help you feel strong again. Not just physically, but emotionally, too. What I hope you take away from this is simple: your health isn't behind you. It's right here in every bite you choose today. The smallest decisions, what's on your plate, what's in your bowl, can bring the biggest changes. You deserve to feel good again. You deserve strength, clarity, and peace in your own body. So start with one choice, one bite, one better habit. Your future is still yours to shape.